there, Reverend Michael McMorrow, coming to you live from the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. That's in the North San Fernando Valley. If you're joining us for the first time, you're most welcome. This is our Wednesday night healing meditation. So we'll talk about that meditation technique here in a little bit. We're still working through the book, Start Where You Are with Pema Chodron. And so we're going to begin the way we begin every service here at our center by just taking a deep conscious breath. And on that release, just sigh it out and just really allow yourself to just surrender to this moment, this eternal now moment, as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So we light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our center, in our online community, and right here in our own hearts. And I have behind me the healing candle. So just take a moment to think about whomever you would like to place in that candle, including yourself. Maybe even say their names out loud and silently place them into the light. The names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. And just surrendering again to this eternal now moment as we surrender to God as we understand it to be, recognizing together that power behind all religions, behind all religious thought and experience, the one power, the one presence, the one source, the wellspring of all, that we are one with this infinite presence, that we are taking this moment now to consciously connect with it. And so in this space and time of conscious union with the One, we just set our intention for this time this evening, for this meditation time, this time spent in contemplation and meditation. As we move into this next 30 minutes or so to just allow whatever needs to make itself known to us. So we release any attachment to agenda about anything that we think is supposed to happen. That we just release attachments to this experience in any way. And then allow, just simply allow the evening to unfold perfectly, which it already is. So we take a deep breath and release. And in that release, we're just releasing the cares and concerns of the day, allowing ourselves to claim this time as our own in gratitude. So we just release it, we let it be so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So that vocal music, of course, for those of you who've been attending here for a while, that's sung by Sharon Scott. She has a website now, so go check it out. She's offering all kinds of services there. And I'm sure if you just wanted to drop her a note and say hello, ask after her how she's doing, I'm sure she'd appreciate that. So, as I said tonight, we're still working with this book, Start Where You Are, Pema Chodron. We're almost to the end of it. So we were working last month through communication from the heart. And so we've worked into a new chapter now entitled The Big Squeeze. The big squeeze. If we want to communicate and we have a strong aspiration to help others, on the level of social action, on the level of our family, at work in our community, or we just want to be there for people when they need us, then sooner or later we're going to experience the big squeeze. Maybe you can relate to that in this time of COVID. Right? Is somebody putting the big squeeze on you? Are you feeling overcommitted? Do you feel like you live, move, and have your being on Zoom now? Our ideals and the reality of what's really happening don't match. We feel as if we're between the fingers of a big giant who is squeezing us. We find ourselves behind the rock in the hard place. This is one of the things that I really appreciate about Pema, is that she does speak to the human condition, doesn't she? There's a discrepancy between our inspiration and the situation as it presents itself, the immediacy of the situation. It's the rub between those things, the squeeze between reality and vision, that causes us to grow up and to wake up to be 100% decent, alive, and compassionate. So she goes on to say that the big squeeze is one of the most productive places on this spiritual path, and in particular, in this journey of awakening the heart. And so how appropriate and apropos it is that we are studying this chapter in this time of COVID, in this time of all the gymnastics of what's going on in the outer world. And of course, the key to this meditation practice is bringing compassion first to ourselves and finding compassion for ourselves then to share that with others. So it's in alignment with the idea from the 12-step, my friends from 12-step who say, you cannot give away something you haven't got. Now this becomes very important in times of polarization, particularly what we're seeing in the outer world. For whatever side of the fence you happen to be on in this political situation that's playing out, it's how to deal with the fence, right? And to understand that the fence is a mental construct, just as our position is. And it's fine to have opinions and to have positions and so forth. But how can we bring compassion to that for ourselves? How can we bring loving kindness for ourselves? Empathy to ourselves. So when we learn to soften in this way, we judge ourselves less harshly. And the great irony about that is that it actually helps us to be less judgmental of others. Because for those of us who've been working in this endeavor of thought and taking responsibility for the ways of our own ways of resentful thinking, we know the gift of healing when we choose to do the work. And you know, this resentment thing is really what we're talking about again. Again, right? And behind and underneath all of that, of course, is fear. And if we're living in fear, then we're not in faith. So meditation is wonderful in that it allows us to create some space within this arena, right? And so in creating space, then we learn to be responsive. And when we're responsive, then we are practicing compassion with ourselves, and when we're doing that, then we can be there for the other. And that may be simply really trying and making a commitment to detach from being right, and rather to seek first to understand rather than be understood. Now that means we have to detach from a whole lot of things, right? And so this big squeeze, right? This situation that we find ourselves in, for those of us who even pay attention to such things, this big squeeze then becomes a wonderful opportunity for us to practice our spiritual practice. And now the interesting thing about this, right, so being spiritual does not mean doing a spiritual bypass. So we can still become aware of our thinking. We can still bring compassion to the dynamic and still be called to action, right? But even in taking action then, right, to practice compassion. So, in religious science, we say all the time, what is being revealed to be healed. So, if I'm looking at something out there that's tweaking me in here, then I realize that there's something in me, right? I'm getting the nudge to look within myself as realistically, maybe even as ruthlessly as I can be, right? Because here's the thing, what we're wanting to do is to have a deeper and evolving relationship with the divine. But when we're all knotted up with these, with worldly clamors and concerns of the world, and clinging to our little pet resentments, these things get in the way. And as religious scientists who are looking, who not only know that there's a power for good in the universe available, right? That there are spiritual tools available, that we can use them not in just a passive way of waiting for our good to come by, but use it in a much more active way with the spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer in an active way to really not only call our vision forth, right, but then do the next indicated thing to bring it forward, because we learn and we realize that the hands of the divine that bring us anything are right at the ends of our arms, right? So that's our task, to work within the big squeeze, to work with compassion, with loving kindness, again, to ourselves, not because we need to pat ourselves on the back, but rather in knowing that in doing the work within ourselves, then we make ourselves more available for our brothers and sisters. Boy, and when we get there, then we will have really grown spiritually. Okay. All right, so let's, enough yakking out of me. Hopefully something I said there got you contemplating a little bit. And so we're going to do this Vipassana style meditation. It can be a little strenuous, but for experienced meditators, they appreciate the silence. And besides, why would you want to listen to me for 20 minutes? Guiding you down the trail and seeing the flowers, and yeah. Nothing wrong with that, just not my scene. All right, so we're going to be working with the breath. What does that mean? We're going to be paying attention to the movement of our breath. And this evening, I want you to not only pay attention to the movement of the in-breath, but also the out-breath as well. So this can be, this can be temperature, pressure, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We're just using sensation, and you'll see that will still the mind. The thought will begin to settle. Now, that doesn't mean you won't think. And you're not trying to not think. I won't think. That's not what we're doing. We're just relaxing, being attentive. We're not dozing off. We're being attentive, paying attention to the movement In breath, out breath. Paying attention to sensation throughout the body. But we'll still find ourselves caught by a thought, which then we simply just label thinking, and then we return back to the breath. Now, even here we practice compassion, so it's not one of those things where you're like, oh God, thinking again. Right? It's not like that. It's just thinking. And it doesn't matter if you're having a good thought, thinking. If you're having a violent thought, thinking. Right? It's a neutral observation. Okay, so we're going to do that for about 20 minutes. And then we'll have a little closing treatment, a little healing treatment at the end. And then we'll be done. So let's start by taking a deep conscious breath. And release. Let's do 3 breaths. Let's do 2 more. Let's take a deep breath. And release. And then we're just releasing the day. Just feel the shoulders drop. Yeah. Just turn to jello. They call me Mellow Jello. All right, taking one more breath. And release. Okay. Now we just bring our attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril. Now this is a gentle thing, right? Your eyes can be closed, partially opened in that Drew's way. Just allowing the tummy to rise and fall naturally. We're not trying to wrangle. Struggle with concentration. No, that's not what we're doing. We're just observing in a neutral way. The movement of the breath in the nostril. Bringing our attention gently back into the room, staying with the breath. Imagine with me that there is a flame of the divine, that spark of the divine, within the center of our own heart. And as we know, the light of the divine is everywhere present. The love energy of the divine is impressing itself, expressing itself in, through, and as all of creation. We breathe in, take a breath in, and we know that we are fanning the flame of the divine with this light of the divine. That we breathe in light, and exhale love. Breathe in light, exhale love. So that we have now within us this ball of light, this chi, if you will, within our very heart center. So with each in-breath, it's growing like a balloon. With each in-breath, this light of the divine is expanding and growing in brilliance and in radiance. So growing side to side, top to bottom, front to back, centered in our heart center, extending now beyond the torso. And we feel our heart opening, feel our chest opening. We feel the light and love of the divine within. We are now completely surrounded by it, that we are sitting in this globe of light, staying with the breath, breathing in light, exhaling love, breathing in light, exhaling love. And so we just allow ourselves now to bask in this field of light and love, this field of compassion. That we know that this energy, this power, this essence, this presence is aligning with, vibrating with the very essence of our being, that every particle, every atom, every molecule, every cell is resonating and aligning with, singing with this pattern of perfection within, that we are attuning the body temple now with the light and love, with the vibration of the Spirit itself. Every atom, every molecule, every cell, every organ, every muscle, every sinew, every wrinkle of our cortex, every neuron is firing and aligning with the light of the divine. That the body temple now is resonating, radiating an energetic of perfect wholeness, casting out anything unlike the perfection of the biologic expression. Staying with the breath. That our heart is now resonating to the rhythm of the divine itself. That it is opening in ways of compassion and love. That we feel ourselves as loved and also the lover. that we feel the old beloved expressing in, through, and as our heart, which enlightens even our thought, that our mind begins to feel lighter, enlightened, resonating with a pattern of perfection, that every neuron, every wrinkle of our cortex is now enlightened by the light of the divine itself. So we think now of those with whom we love, and we bring them into this field that we have cultivated. Our siblings, our parents, remembering that time is eternal, so we're just resonating with the energetic of those with whom we love. That we feel ourselves opening, connected with and vibrating in this light and love. And so then we bring in the other. Anyone with whom we believe ourselves to be in conflict with, and just allow the light of the divine, the radiance of the divine, the infinite heart expressing as our heart now, that we see and we feel only oneness, the yin and yang of the universe in perfect harmony, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, in perfect stasis, homeostasis. And that we just hold in this love now our local community, extending to the state, to the national stage, the planet itself. That even Mother Earth now is resonating with us. The ancient song of wholeness and perfection. Taking a deep breath and releasing. And so from this place of conscious unity with all of life, we allow any cares or concerns that we may have to just make themselves known. A vision for our a more expansive and evolving expression of our life and the lives that we build together, that we're just breathing into that now. And taking a deep breath and release. So we're releasing all these concerns, cares, visions, victories, gratitude, releasing all of it. And in that release, then we know that as we move forward from this time spent together, that we prepare ourselves for rest and sleep this evening. That as we hit the pillow, we drift off to sleep easily and effortlessly. That we fall deeply into sleep, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaking, feeling rested, restored, revitalized, full of vim and vigor and excitement for the day to come. Taking a deep breath. And so in gratitude and in confidence now, we just release our word, the feelings, any notion, just releasing it now. Releasing to that aspect of mind, that aspect of the mind of the divine itself that knows only to say yes. Yes, my beloved, yes. In you I am well pleased. So we, again, in confidence and in gratitude, we release it to its divine unfoldment, knowing it is done. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So this concludes our healing meditation for this evening. So we do get underway at 10:30 on Sunday mornings right here on this same YouTube channel. If you've not yet subscribed and you would like to join us, the easiest way to keep that in mind is to hit subscribe and then hit that little bell, and you'll get a notification to remind you. So you can find us on this this channel, and if you forget but you have Facebook on, we simulcast there through the magic cosmic juice of Mike Carlin using technology. So you're welcome to join us for that. On our YouTube there is a chat, so you can join folks within our own community, say hello and be seen. If you would like to receive any of we have all kinds of electronic stuff going on. If you'd like to receive our constant contact, letting you know of classes and the like, and any other news that we have, that'll also get you to our YouTube channel. We are on Instagram, and so join us. You know, there's no reason why you need to be disconnected. If you'd like to get more connected in this, as we work our way through to the perfect healing and the release of the grip of COVID on our planet, this is a nice way to do it. There's a lot of nice folks in our community. You can also get my book. I am now a published author. It's Blue Collar Spirituality, Finding a God That Works. You can just simply Google McMorrow, Blue Collar Spirituality, and that will probably get you, and Amazon, and that'll get you there. It's only $10, pretty fast read. I've been getting good comments. It's kind of a spiritual breadcrumb kind of book, and or you can do like Mike does and have Alexa read it to you. But it doesn't sound very satisfying, I have to say, but it is one way to get the book read. All right, so that's it from me. Reverend Michael McMorrow signing off. Sweet dreams to you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to Michael Carlin for working the board for us tonight. And if you'd like to support us, just hit the donate button up there in the banner, take you to PayPal. Other than that, sweet dreams, and I'll see you on Sunday. Peace and blessings.